got big time problems with that motor, buddy. Hey.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to week number 8 of the SoDak iRacing series presented by Jordan Updahl Construction. Tonight, the SoDak iRacing series heads back to Florida and back to the half-mile Volusia Speedway. This time, it's a whole different class. We've seen them compete with the 360 sprint cars here. We've seen them compete with the street stocks here, which, by the way, happen to be some folks' favorite event of the year so far. Tonight, for the only time in this 10-week iRacing series, it's the 305 sprint cars. Good evening, everybody. I'm Sean Neisted. We'll have Scotty DeYoung along here in a short bit. And tonight, you're watching live on PitStop TV. We welcome some new partners and new friends to the SoDak iRacing series, as tonight the Advantage Racing TV folks, well, they're doing real racing. They're down at Alta, Iowa's Buena Vista Speedway to do some actual racing down there. So you still have an opportunity to check that out tonight as we welcome you in for tonight's coverage right here with the 305 sprint cars on PitStop TV for the SoDak iRacing series presented by Jordan Updahl Construction. Let's take a look at the point standings as we're just about, maybe 6 minutes away from the start of qualifying time trials here tonight. Point standings coming into this one look like this. Tanner Koster continues to lead the point standings. Keep in mind that young man has been on the podium at 6 of the 7 events so far this year. He has the point lead, but not a major point lead. Less than 20 points behind him, and you can score about 200 points on a race night here, so that's how close this is. About 20 points out of the points lead is McCaleb Volts. McCaleb coming in at 12:35. John Coots, who's been Mr. Consistent all series long, he comes into tonight's action sitting third in the point standings, and then it's Travis Shores. He went +3 after finishing runner-up in last weekend's event, 360 sprints at the dirt track at Charlotte. Travis sits 4th in the points, and Troy Shores now 5th in the point standings. The rest of your top 10 has Tyler Johnson in the 6th spot. Keep in mind, Tyler picked up a win week number 2, driving the dirt late models at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Nate Barger, who missed last week's event, tending to a fire with his firefighter duties, he is 7th in the point standings. Austin Opdahl sits number 8 coming into tonight. Dylan Workman, who has 2 feature wins, he sits number 9. And Mitch Lupkus is 10th in the point standings. Now, why do we open tonight and talk about these points a lot earlier than we normally would, as we saw Trey Thiesenbitz take a ride on the back straightaway there? That's because we're getting down to the nitty-gritty right now. Next week, 360 sprints at Limeland. After that, we've got 360 sprints at Lanier, and then we're going to have our point champion crowned. What does that mean? This is a virtual series, right? Well, kind of, but there's real money on the line. The point champion is going to collect $150 at the end of our 10 weeks of racing action. Second in the points, $100. Third in the points, $70, then $50, $40, $30, $20, and $20 on down to the 10th place spot, which will be a brand new custom fishing rod from Jack's Custom Rods. Now, the other thing that'll be interesting when they do decide who gets the money on how this works is anybody in those top 10 in the points could decide they want to give in their cash and take that rod instead. So it's a $100 value rod from Jack's Custom Rods. It's amazing. So, if I were sitting up there 2nd or 3rd in the point standings, I'd have a new fishing pole. Also coming up at the conclusion of this point series, Nielsen Crop Insurance, they're going to have 5 random draws for perfect attendance drivers. We'll pick up $20 for all the recipients of that. My Race Pass giving insider discounts for the 11th place finisher in points, and the driver who sets the most quick times through the series will also pick up a My Race Pass insider discount. Now, if you do not have the My Race Pass app, first, shame on you. Where have you been? Download that, not now, you're watching the stream, but when you're done with it tonight, make sure you get the My Race Pass app, and you can then see live entries, live timing and scoring, live lineups from your, chances are, your favorite racetracks, just about all the racetracks everywhere. use my race pass. So make sure to have that, and you'll enjoy it. I promise you. So again, about 3 minutes away from the start of qualifications here tonight, and hopefully a lot of folks tuning in here. We're seeing some folks starting to comment. If you're tuned in on the PitStop TV Facebook page, just like always, say hello and give us a like, and you'll be seeing the action come through on this page all night long. Let's take a look at the car count for tonight for Volusia Speedway. We are sitting at 38 cars have signed in for tonight's program. So a good, strong contingent once again here tonight. Volusia Speedway, if you're not familiar with iRacing's Volusia Speedway, this is a real dirt track down in Florida. This is the home to a lot of those early season races in February with the World of Outlaws and the Dirt Car Nationals. All of them happen down here at Volusia. It's a half mile, but it doesn't always drive like a big half mile. It has a tendency to get very fast on the bottom, and has a lot of drivers really start to like that bottom groove, but they don't have to use the bottom. And then when they get into turn one, there's a couple different ways to get into the bottom in turn one. One is to hug the wall, getting right into the corner. The other is to sweep in there and then get down to the wall at about the center of the corner, or the apex. As we watch Trey Thiesenvitz now work through the bottom of three, he'll come off of turn number 4. Right there was where the track really feels like it gets narrow. As he goes back into turn number 1, he's electing to run that very bottom groove into the corner. You'll see some drivers throughout the course of the night try to run it in higher and then turn it left and get a straight run through the center of the corner. All right, I've been talking for quite a few minutes. Scotty DeYoung, are you here? How are you doing right now? Nope, that's no. Scotty's not with us yet. So we're looking forward to having Scotty join us. He's trying to get everything dialed in on his end at the world headquarters of Advantage TV. Again, thank you tonight to PitStop TV for coming on board, and they will have the broadcast for all of tonight's action. And you know, while you're there at PitStop TV, don't forget they have a great menu of options that you can view with them just about any night of the week. Coming up tomorrow night, they will have action from Texas, the SRCA IndyCar World Series doubleheader tomorrow night on PitStop TV. So a little different brand of racing, but you can certainly check that out tomorrow night right here on their Facebook page. They've also got Twitter and all the other things that I don't know anything about, like Twitch. They have YouTube. You can find them easily on YouTube. Just search PitStop TV. So let's recap. Let's get us to how we got here tonight. Last week's event, 360 sprints at the dirt track at Charlotte, and what a race it was at the very end. Tanner Koster was up front early on in the race, got shuffled deep in the field, come charging back through, and our only three-peat winner of this series ended up finishing in the 3rd spot. In front of him, the battle of the year, Travis Shores and Dylan Workman. It was amazing. Workman hammering the top of the racetrack. Travis working the very bottom of the racetrack. And as we heard from him in Victory Lane, he could hit that bottom right about once every 6 corners. That's how difficult that track was last week in competition. So expect to see a lot of the same here. The tracks are pretty similar in size, to be honest. The dirt track at Charlotte, they call it a 4/10. They call this a half mile. But this one doesn't always drive like a big half mile. In fact, the back straightaway, as you see them come to the front straightaway, you'll see the other side of the track as we watch Opdahl work around the outside of the speedway. The backstretch is never straight. You are always turning, as Austin Opdahl was there on the back straightaway, all the way around, and now he's going to park it and call that a good practice session. So there is a lot to watch here at this track. With the 305s tonight, I've got a pretty good hunch they're going to run this track pretty dry slick throughout the course of the evening. As we go on board here with a look, you'll see just how much the hands move inside the cockpit of these sprint cars. And That's real. That's what they're doing with their sim rigs in their homes and in their shops tonight as we go racing here at the dirt track at Volusia. Coming up, by the way, we're taking a look at Bruce Jones out there, the number 17 car.
Always good to see Bruce out there.
Hey, you're here. Hi, Scotty.
I'm here. I'm actually tuned into the Facebook page, so I'll just be doing caution and color commentary tonight. I can't get back into the system.
Oh, you did what I did earlier this year. Got yourself locked out. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It is an enjoyable thing to watch here on Facebook, and you're gonna be just fine. I'm glad to have you with us here, Scotty, as we get set for week number 8 of this SoDak iRacing series presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction. We've had fun each and every week, as Jim Workman has tuned in and said, it seems like every week the racing gets better. I think that's exactly the case as we get set here for week number 8. And Scotty, I'm going to ask you to talk for a minute because I'm going to do the unthinkable. I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to go out there and qualify.
Oh boy, always a bad thing when the announcer gets in the car.
Yeah, and I haven't practiced at all. All I have is the standard setup in here, and these guys have been working. So don't judge me on my inability to be even close to competitive here tonight.
All fine and dandy, my friend. As Sean was mentioning earlier, week number 8 here, the 10-week series here for the SoDak iRacing series presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction. We've seen this track a few times here in this season so far, and as Jim Workman related to, the racing just keeps getting better and better. We've seen great action in the street stocks, great action in the modifieds. Now the first Eagle 5 race of the night tonight, and definitely looking forward to that. As a new fastest lap right now, Shane Lewis at 15.197.
I think you misread
like
that. It's me.
Tanner Coster now. Sean, what's your number? Is your number 2?
211.
211. Let me guess, you red and yellow.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, watching you on board right now on Facebook here.
17th quick.
Hey, you just hold the brakes around and you get a better starting spot up in the heat race, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I probably could go upstairs, and if I had a way to get back in here, grab Ryan's controller and maybe run a lap myself. But I've never even driven a sprint car in real life, so
yeah, you probably don't want to do that.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah. Rundown right here. Trey Thiesenvitz is quickest out there on the track thus far in
Bruce Jones now in the 17B though. And back to Thiesenvitz for a 14.92.
So things pretty good. Close action here tonight early on. Thiesenvitz 14.923. Jones a 14.999. Dylan Workman 15.040. Oh, there goes Troy Shores up to the second spot. 14.994. So the driver of the number 1 car getting fast. Here comes Tyler Johnson up there to the 4th spot to a 15.003. So he's moving pretty quick there. Caleb Volts is in the 8th spot, so it's Thiesenvitz, Shores, as in Travis, Bruce Jones, Tyler Johnson, Dylan Workman, John Coots, Shane Lewis, Michaela Volts, Kyle Roseboom, Brett Nielsen, the top 10. Lupkis, Grilly, Coster, Opdahl, as in Austin, then Jordan, Kevin Plagman, 16th, Corey Klumper, 17th, Connor Hamilton, 18th, Troy Shores, 19th, and 20th is... Oh, Troy Shores just got bumped to 20th, Connor Hamilton, 19th. Where am I? I am way down at the bottom. Oh, that is embarrassing. All right. Let's get into racing here. Yeah, we'll stick with that. I just needed some practice laps. I didn't plan on racing. Jack's Custom Rods brings us heat race number 1 of the SoDak iRacing series presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction. Top 3 transfer directly to tonight's A-Main after each 10-lap heat race. Here's a starting lineup for heat race number 1. Starting on the pole, it's the 8. That's Skylar Devaney. On his outside will be the number 42 of Kyle Roseboom. Second row on the inside, coming off the feature win last week. That's the 75 of Dylan Workman. Workman is also up to the number 9 spot in the point standings. Fourth on the starting grid will be the quick timer. That is the 53 of Trey Thiesenvitz. Row number 5, Kevin Plagman in the 57. Inside, outside will be Dylan Sampson in the 37. Row number 4 has Caleb Johnson inside. Dallas Rasmussen, new to the group. He'll start outside row 4. And the 5th row, Ryan McCarty inside in the 111, and Tim Allerding scheduled to start outside of him as your 10th and final starter in Jack's Custom Rods. Heat race number 1 for the SoDak iRacing Series presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction. If you're looking for a new fishing rod, look for Jack's Custom Rods. You'll find information on them on Facebook. So as we talked about, Scotty, 10 laps of distance on these heat races, only the top 3 transfer. So as we've talked about many times, there's a lot of pressure on these drivers, and it starts right here on the first lap of these heat races.
Yes, it is. And, going into that first corner is really going to come into play, whether you get that jump or not to get out to that early race lead. As I know you mentioned earlier, some of the preferred lines were running that tight line on the bottom up against the wall, or way up on that knife edge on the cushion up against the outer wall too, later on when it slicks off. So definitely heat race is going to come into play here to see how they line up for the feature.
That's exactly how this works. Top 3 transfer, the rest go into a pair of B mains. So the pressure begins, and it begins tonight here in turn number 4. You can follow along with the standings on the left side of the screen tonight with PitStop TV, as those will be live standings all through the event. 10 laps the distance. Jack's Custom Rods, heat race number 1, week 8, SoDak iRacing Series presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction is underway. You'll see the difference there. The 305 sprint cars, they don't quite come up to speed like the 360s do, but by the time they're coming off of the second turn, they're up to speed and humming down the back straightaway. Skylar Devaney leads, but here comes the 75 of Dylan Workman looking to the inside. He'll have at least the second spot, maybe more as we go back to turn number 1. Workman on the very bottom, Devaney through the middle. Just behind them, the 42 of Roseboom as they go 3 wide, and here comes the 53 of Dees and Vince sneaking to the inside. So your quick timer now has a transfer spot into tonight's Impact Landscape Designs A feature event, and last week's A main winner is on the outside looking in. That's a 75 of Dylan Workman. Workman now goes to the inside of Skylar Devaney. He's got the spot getting into turn 3. Devaney works the cushion. Just behind them is the 53 of Shooter Plegman. Kevin Plegman in the 57, I should say, and then the 22 of Caleb Johnson. So out front it is Kyle Roseboom, Trey Thies and Vince, Dylan Workman in the transfer spots. Skylar Devaney looked to go to the bottom over there in 4, may have gotten a little bit of the concrete on the inside of the track. That opens that bottom groove for the 57 of Kevin Plegman, who looks to his inside. So the top 3 cars in the transfer spots, starting to stretch it out just a little bit over the cars who are still on the outside looking in. In fact, Dylan Workman there got a little loose off of turn number 4, got the 75 sideways. That allows the 8 of Skylar Devaney to close in. Speaking of closing in, out front, you watch the race for the lead. On the bottom, sliding up, your new leader is the 53 of Trey Thies and Vince. Kyle Roseboom works back to his inside. Off of turn number 2, they will come. Thies and Vince now in command on lap number 7 of 10 of this one. Roseboom in the second spot. Dylan Workman still in third. He's about 4 car lengths in front of the 8 of Skylar Devaney, who's on the outside looking in. Devaney closes in a bit in turn 1 as we look at that battle now. Down the back straightaway, the 8 is Devaney. The 75 is Workman. Devaney sails it into turn number 3 as Workman hits the bottom of the racetrack. They'll continue on just like that. Lap number 9 underway right now. So they'll come to the white flag. This time by off turn number 4, as you see Trey Thiesenbit's quickest car on the track of 15.079 as he will lead at the white flag. Final lap underway. Thiesenbit's, Roseboom, and Workman in the spots to transfer on to tonight's Impact Landscape Design A main. Off of turn number 4 they come. Checker flag flies. Trey Thiesenbit's your winner. Kyle Roseboom, Dylan Workman, the top 3. Skylar Devaney, Caleb Johnson, Dallas Rasmussen, Ryan McCarty, Kevin Plegman, Dylan Sampson, and Timothy Allerdings going to go to tonight's B features.
Also saw Kevin Plegman going upside down as he possibly got into it with Sampson there with a few laps to go. So they will have to come out of a B feature. But Thiesenbit's definitely on the hunt there in that 53 car as after he crossed the line, crashes into the outside wall in the backstretch.
That's just for show after the checkered. Let's take a look now for the starting lineup for tonight's Volts Concrete Heat Race number 2, and it goes like this. Starting on the pole position is the driver of the 97. That's the Texas Cherry Plumbing 97, a 3-time winner on the series this season. And that is your points leader as well, Tanner Koster. Brett Nielsen's going to start on the outside of him in the Monster Energy number 10. Starting in the second row on the inside, that is where we find the man who is number 3 in the point standings. The 13 is John Coots. And to his outside, new paint scheme on the number 1, Travis Shores, starting 4th on the grid. Row number 3 to the inside, another new paint scheme, Corey Klumper in the 88. Anthony Anderson will drive the 63 machine. He starts outside the 3rd row. Row 4 on the inside will be the number 33. That's Oliver Delfs, and Delfs outside, and that is Peyton Seitz in the 325. Coming off the back, the 333 is Corey Goodall. Austin Hahn scheduled to start outside of him in the 10th and final starting position. That's your starting lineup. This is Volts Concrete Construction Heat Race number 2, brought to us by Volts Concrete Construction for the SoDak iRacing Series, presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction.
Just looking at the comments here, Sean Trey Thiesenvitz commented, "I want to go fast," with Jim Workman replying, "Yes, you were." So once again, just please don't text and race, ladies and gentlemen, although I think Trey has a little bit of a bad habit doing though.
Yeah, let's just hope he does that at home, only when iRacing. It looks like on the feed, maybe the lights are out. So I'll do my best to tell you what's going on the racetrack right now as we get underway for the Volts Concrete Heat Race number 2 for the SoDak iRacing Series. And out to the initial lead is the 97. Tanner Koster leads him down the back straightaway, and into turn number 3 they go. Koster has the lead. Coots already in the second spot, then side by side behind him for the final transfer. That is between the 1 of Travis Shores and the 10 of Brett Nielsen. Who will wreck Brett's stuff tonight? It's an inside joke if you're one of these racers. Seems like Brett always gets crashed. Right now, he's going to have to really get sailing on this one. The number 10 is outside of a transfer spot as Travis Shores gets by him and sets his sights on second place running the number 13 of John Coots. Tanner Koster is your leader by about 6 car lengths over the number 13. Now working the bottom, Travis Shores in the number 1 car, as we've seen him so successful before, right around the bottom of these speedways. He works the bottom to the inside of Coots, can't quite get there. Quickest car on the track, the 1 of Travis Shores, but he's back in the 3rd spot. Brett Nielsen still within striking distance to come after him. Anthony Anderson is 5th. Corey Klumper is 6th. Corey Goodall, Oliver Delfs, Peyton Seitz, Austin Hahn, the running order as we continue on here in Heat Race number 2, brought to us by Volts Concrete Construction. Tanner Koster looks good as the 1 of Travis Shores gets to the inside of the 13 of Coots through 1 and 2, and he's able to take the position. So up to the second spot is your quick timer from this heat race. That's the number 1 of Travis Shores. Koster, Shores, Coots still in the top 3 transfer spots, but starting to close in a bit. Brett Nielsen is about 5 car lengths behind the 13 of John Coots. Coots still has the final transfer spot, although he has lost touch with the top 3. As you see a beauty shot of the teams working their way around the racetrack. Coming through turns 3 and 4, here come your leaders, and you see them now off of turn number 4. New leader at the line, it's the 1 of Travis Shores. Shores takes over command. He will slide up in front of the previous leader. No, going around the outside is Tanner Koster. Koster back to the point, working the top shelf as the 1 of Travis Shores works on the bottom. At the line, it's Shores. Shores on the bottom. Tanner Koster in the second spot. And not far behind them is the number 13 of John Coots and the 10 of Brett Nielsen. The race for the final transfer spot. They come by the line. It is Shores that time leading. Tanner Koster in the second spot, as that was the checkered flag. Shores your winner. Koster in second. Coots in third. And Brett Nielsen will finish 4th with Corey Klumper in the top 5. Heat race number 3 is brought to us by Rapid Speedway, and be sure to check out Rapid Speedway in Rock Rapids, Iowa this Friday night. Just a couple nights from now, for the first time this year, they will have fans in the stands at Rapid Speedway, so be sure to check that out. That is this Friday night, Rapid Speedway, Rock Rapids, Iowa, and Rapid Speedway brings us Heat race number 3 tonight for the SoDak iRacing Series, presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction. Here's the starting lineup of this one. It'll be Austin Opdahl. He is on the pole position. He drives the number 20 car. And on his outside, Mitch Lupkus in the number 6. Shane Lewis starts inside row number 2. That's the Buffalo Wild Wings number 25. And the 4th starter, the Taco Rocket, Bruce Jones in the 14, who is 3rd quick overall here tonight. Connor Hamilton drives the number 3 car. He will start inside the 3rd row. To his outside, the 55 is Christopher Murray. Alec Matea in the 36 will start in the 7th spot. And on the outside of the 4th row is the 32 of Lawrence Serrano. 5th and final row will have the 7 of Chris Schrum lining up shotgun on the field. Michael Rhodes could start 10th if he joins in on this one. So this is heat race number 3, brought to us by Rapid Speedway. So 9 cars on the speedway, 10 laps is the distance. Top 3 transfer directly to tonight's Impact Landscape Designs A feature event for the SoDak iRacing Series presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction. Thank you all for your patience as we work through a couple technical difficulties here tonight, getting everything ready to go, and things look good as we are set to go green off of turn number 4 on this 10-lap heat race. Mitch Lupkus got the Hawkeye proudly displayed on that number 6, starting on the outside of the opening row. Austin Opdahl, the Opdahl Farms number 20, setting the pace on the pole. Pace truck will drop them off here in turn number 4. We'll drop the throttles, and we are underway with the Rapid Speedway heat race number 3 for the SoDak iRacing Series presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction. Week number 8 from Volusia. Oh, a blinker deep in the field. Dylan Peterson's car blinking. It's Alec Matea in that 36. As the 20 of Austin Opdahl is your leader. The 6 of Mitch Lupkus through the middle. Low contact as the 3 of Connor Hamilton had a little how do you do from the 25 of Shane Lewis. And they both got into the inside of the track. That shakes things up out front a little bit. Opdahl and Lupkus still your leaders, but Bruce Jones takes advantage of it, and the 17 is up to the 3rd spot as you watch the 25 of Shane Lewis try to get back up to speed. He has fallen to the 8th position. Jones taking a look to the inside of Lupkus. Bruce Jones having a good night here early on with the 305 sprints at Volusia. He has the final transfer position as they work off turn number 4. The car lurking just behind them is the 55 of Christopher Murray, and not too far out is that 3 of Connor Hamilton. So Hamilton trying to work his way back into the mix after starting 5th on the grid and getting tangled up early on in this heat race. The 20 of Opdahl leads over Lupkus by about 0.3 of a second. Here comes Bruce Jones to the inside. You watch him work on the bottom of the racetrack. He'll have the position off of turn number 4, but watch that momentum build on the outside. The 6 of Lupkus was able to get back to him, getting into 1. Slide job off of turn number 2 and move the 17 of Bruce Jones into the spot. They'll trade lines now, getting into turn number 3. Onto the bottom goes Lupkus, the number 6, trying to come back after him. But Bruce Jones now solidly in second. Has a little buffer between him and having to run the B main. That buffer's name is Mitch Lupkus. Lupkus on the bubble as he runs 0.6 of a second in front of the 55 of Christopher Murray. We're on board with the 6 of Lupkus as you look ahead to Bruce Jones at the 17, and in front of him, the 20 of Austin Opdahl. A couple laps remaining when we work ourselves off of turn number 4 and down the front straightaway as Alec Matea pulling in. At that time off of turn 4, he was missing a nose wing and had a pretty damaged up race car, so he'll tap out and try for some better luck in one of tonight's B mains. Opdahl, Jones, Lupkus, and closing in on Lupkus. You see him there working the bottom of your screen and working the bottom of the racetrack is Christopher Murray. He was 0.6 of a second out. He's cut that down to about 0.4 of a second behind the 6 of Lupkus. Checker flag flying as the win goes to the 20 of Austin Opdahl. Bruce Jones, Mitch Lupkus also go to the A main. Christopher Murray finishes in the 4th spot ahead of Connor Hamilton in 5th. We've got one more heat race tonight here. It is brought to us by Econowash Laundromat for week 8 of the SoDak iRacing Series, presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction. And here's the starting lineup. Speaking of Jordan Opdahl, that's the man on the pole position in car number 41. And his outside, that will be Brandon Grilly in the Fernson Brewing number 2. Second row on the inside, that's where we find Ice Cold Michelob. Michaela Volz starts inside the second row. Tyler Johnson, who's got a feature win with the series, starts outside of him. Johnson changing up, going to a GoMuddy.com number 5 paint scheme this week. Your fifth starter, that's the 12 of Troy Shores. Bob Bessman in the 15 will start to his right. And then we go to row number 4. It's the 132 of Brian Hoeing inside. Alex Shriver on the outside. Oh, crap, I'm supposed to start this one too. I'm in. All right. We'll see if we can do this. Scotty, are you even here, man?
I'm here, man, and good news, I finally got into Discord, and I'm watching the race live here, so if you want to go ahead and run this one, I'll call this race here.
I will try. I still don't have a setup in this thing, so wish me luck.
Well, good luck, my friend, as you see the cars rolling off here. Once again, Jordan Opdahl and Brandon Grilly, row 1. Michaela Volz and Tyler Johnson, row 2. Troy Shures, Bob Bessman, row 3. Brian Hoeing and Alex Shriver, row 4. And at the back of the pack, starting shotgun, our very own favorite and loved announcer, the 211 of Sean Easton.
Gonna stay back here, too.
I don't blame you. I would, too, if I were out there, as we are actually on board with you right now, Sean.
Well, got to thank my sponsors. Me.
I got $5 from S2H Motorsports. How about that?
All right.
Alrighty, so 10 laps of distance here in your fourth and final heat race of the evening, brought to you by Econowash Laundromat. Top 3 go to tonight's A feature. The rest will have to transfer to a B. Both B features coming up. The top 4 transfer into tonight's A main. Brought to you by Impact Landscape Designs. As they come down the backstretch here into turn number 3.
What if I just jump the start really big?
Hey, cautions don't count in heat races, so hey, you might have a chance then. Pace vehicle is going to dive into the infield. Green's going to come out, and we are racing with heat race number 4. Great start by the 41 of Jordan Opdahl, but here comes Ice Cold Michelob as he's going to rocket out to that second spot now. Brandon Grilly on the outside, battling with the 23 cars side by side, coming into turns 3 and 4. Jordan Opdahl coming back number 1, Michaela Volz in second, Brandon Grilly in third. Troy Shures in the 12 working the inside line now, along with Tyler Johnson in the 5. Shures is going to be running 4th spot. Brandon Grilly trying to hang on to that third and final transfer spot. Here comes Michaela Volz on the bottom. Slight into the wall off the inside of turn number 4 as he still holds on to that second spot. Tyler Johnson fastest that lap with a 15.49. Michaela Volz going to the back bumper of the 41 car. As they're side by side for third, coming into turn number 1. Troy Shures working on the bottom. Brandon Grilly the 2 through the middle. Side by side for that third and final transfer spot as they come into turns 3 and 4. Really had a slight advantage at the flag stand there, but Troy Shures still working the bottom. Here comes Tyler Johnson in the 5 car now. Tyler Johnson has a feature win on the season already here at the SoDak iRacing Series. He wants a piece of the action. Michaela Volz the way inside of the track now, trying to gain position. Not going to happen as Opdahl too strong on the top side. Side by side into turn number 3. Michaela Volz on the bottom, trying to keep it off the wall. And he's going to have the advantage coming to the stick there. Side by side for your race lead now. Michaela Volz with a better run on the bottom this time now, as he had the fast lap at a 15.43. Side by side, still coming into turn number 3 with that 41 of Jordan Opdahl. Not by much though, just .049. Jordan Opdahl back to the lead though. As they come off the backstretch into turn number 3. Michaela Volz now with a slight advantage as they come in with third and final by the 5. Tyler Johnson at the moment.
Hey Scotty, I need to chime in here. If any of the other racers have a setup and can send me it for the B feature, I would appreciate it. I am banging the chip at the flag stand. This is awful.
As we see Sean struggling back there at the back of the pack. I don't mean to laugh, Sean, but Yeah.
Seriously,
Anyway,
I'm hitting the chip at the midway point of the straightaways. This is awful. This is a terrible setup. I need one.
coming to the line, though, it's going to be Michaela Bolt with your heat race win. Jordan Opdahl is second. Tyler Johnson in third. Those two will transfer to tonight's Impact Landscape Designs A main. Troy Schurz, Brandon Grilly, Bob Bessman, Alex Shriver, Brian Hoeing, and, of course, Sean Neisted will have to transfer through a B to get to tonight's A main.
Let's pretend that never happened. That was terrible. That was really, really bad. That car was horrible.
Hey, it's all about having fun, right?
Yeah. You got any good setup tips for a 305 sprint car, Mr. Hobby Stock Racer?
That's a good question. I don't even know where to start.
I got some ideas here.
Maybe drop some pressure in the left rear.
Yeah. At least I'm not in this first B main, so I can try and figure something out. So let's take a look at that starting lineup, Scotty, for tonight's first B main of the night. Top four transfer. Row number 1, Skylar Devaney and Christopher Murray in the 8 and 55. Caleb Johnson will start inside row number 2. Connor Hamilton on his outside. Row number 3, Dallas Rasmussen in the other 22. Shane Lewis in the 25. Fourth row has Ryan McCarty inside, Chris Schrum on the outside. Fifth row, Dylan Sampson, the 37, the 32 of Lawrence Serrano. Kevin Plegman coming from the back. So 11 cars going to start here. All right, somebody sent me a setup. All right. Scotty, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, I'm working on my car.
Trying to get onto the Facebook page here to stay up to date with the fans as well.
Yeah, my computer for that went dead. I'm just a mess tonight, man. I'm a mess.
You're not the only one, my friend. As normally we would say, this is the parade lap for the B feature, so stand on up and wave to the drivers as they're putting on a show for you tonight, and do the same for the next B feature and the A main. Like we said here, though, top 4 transfer into tonight's A main, brought to you by Impact Landscape Design. Once again, 305s from Volusia here for the SoDak iRacing Series, presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction as they make their way into turns 3 and 4. Pace truck is going to dump them off here.
Hey, Scotty, I'll take the call of this one if you'll call the next one.
Absolutely. Go ahead, my friend.
I might be a little busy in that next one. I'm going to do that back to front challenge at the B main thing. No, you don't sound confident. No, I'm not either. Skylar Devaney, Caleb Johnson bring us to the green. Pace truck drops him off, and B main number 1 underway for the SoDak iRacing Series, presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction. Cars coming up to speed. Skylar Devaney leads him down in the first turn. Caleb Johnson coming with him, working that bottom line. Johnson will go to the top. Christopher Murray following in line there with the 3 of Connor Hamilton working the bottom. Again, 4 transfers. Shane Lewis is in the 5th spot. Remember, Lewis had trouble in the heat race, got caught up in an incident, and the driver of the Buffalo Wild Wings car that we would typically see run pretty strong, having to try to come through one of these B mains here. As Chris Schrum and Ryan McCarty had trouble there and tangled on the front straightaway. We remain green as it almost takes an act of Congress to get a caution in one of these B features, as we've got Skylar Devaney, Caleb Johnson, Murray, and Lewis now working with the 03 of Connor Hamilton for a transfer spot. Devaney, Murray now gets to the outside. Johnson works to the in. Slide job. He's got the spot. Down the front straightaway they come back to turn number 1. Murray back to the bottom. The 55 starting to trade some sliders with Caleb Johnson and Shane Lewis right there, holding on to the last transfer spot just in front of a high side hustler by the name of Connor Hamilton, who loves to ride the top of the racetrack. Hamilton, though, needing to advance another spot right here. Maybe it's the momentum he needs. Starting to reel in Shane Lewis down the back straightaway and into turn 3. Off of turn number 4, that top side starting to come in. Connor Hamilton side by side with Shane Lewis for the final transfer spot. Hamilton works the top. Lewis gets it loose on the bottom. Here comes Hamilton. Into Cabaret number 3, up to that final transfer spot. We know they're tuned in tonight from the Cabaret. And now going to the bottom, slide job. Yes, there it is. Hamilton slides up, but around the outside comes Caleb Johnson. Johnson still holding on to a transfer spot as Hamilton throws the slider once again off of turn number 4. Couple laps remaining on this one as they have Skylar Devaney checked out. Christopher Murray in second. Hamilton, Johnson, Lewis, 3 cars battling for the final 2 transfer spots. Hamilton has it. Here comes Johnson around the outside, back into a transfer as Shane Lewis right now shuffled out of the A main. Big slider. It works for Caleb Johnson to get in front of Hamilton, but then he lost all the momentum, so Hamilton comes back around. Hamilton runs 3rd, Johnson 4th, Lewis in the 5th spot on this final lap of B main number 1. We know Devaney's going to the A. We know Murray is going to the A. Who out of this 3-car pack will join them? It'll be the 3 of Hamilton and Caleb Johnson, both going on to tonight's A feature event. Good B main there, Scotty.
Absolutely great B main. Shane Lewis tried a late slider in turn 3 and 4 there and was not able to capitalize, unfortunately. But those 4 cars, like you said, Skylar Devaney, Corey Murray, and then Caleb Johnson and Connor Hamilton both making the A main tonight, as that will bring us up the second B feature here. Want to make sure I got all the names here correct.
Just don't get too excited when you get back to the back end of the starting grid here.
We got big time problems with that motor, buddy. Hey, just between you and me, the idea is to avoid the other cars. Congratulations! You just set the sport back 30 years with that move. That move will put you in the Hall of Shame. You keep doing stuff like that and we're gonna lose our sponsor. Looks like that's it for us today. Now I know why you got canned by your old team. It's over. We can't fix that damage.
Tonight's A main brought to you by Impact Landscape Design here on the SoDak iRacing Series presented by Jordan Obdahl Construction.
I think I can get there. I just need a couple of really big crashes.
Well, we've seen some in the other weeks, so we'll just have to see here. You know, Sean, you've always said you wanted to announce and race at the same time. This would be the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, I should have planned on it and, practiced. The thing these guys all start doing 5 minutes after the last race, so they'll all be practicing for Lima Land here in about, 40 minutes.
Always practice for next week, as the pace truck is going to dive into the infield now. Green flags are come out, and we are B feature number 2 racing. Nielsen out to the early race lead. Shores in that second spot, then Brandon Grilly, and then it is going to be the 88 of Klumper. That is your current top 4 on the racetrack right now with the current transfer spots into tonight's A main. Kevin Flegman in the 57 coming around call on the outside. Oh, gets into the wall. Excuse me, that is going to be the 15 of Bessman. They both have green cars, hard to tell them apart. Bessman getting into the wall, but not losing a position. He sits in 5th. Now moving to the inside on the outside. Window to the final transfer spot for tonight's A main. Side by side for the race lead, though, between Troy Schurz and Nielsen. Oh, contact there as Schurz get all sorts of ways, but straight. He's going to fall back to the second spot now and battle for second with Brandon Gilly. Number 2, Gilly up top. He's going to have a slight advantage coming into turn 1 and 2. But meanwhile, back for that fourth position is getting dicey here. The 88 of Klumper holding on, but not by much. 15 of Bob Bestman still on the outside looking in as he comes around Paul on the top side as well. Alex Schreiber in the double zero right behind Bestman, trying to get into that battle and make tonight's A main. Klumper still holding on to the fourth spot as Schurz is still in second, Brandon Grilly in third, and your race leader at the time being is in that number 10 car. As we've got three wide coming into turn 1 and 2, Nielsen, Schurz, and Grilly all battling it out for that top spot there on the racetrack. Nielsen still with the race lead as Schurz behind him to follow him around the top side. Brandon Grilly.
Son of a bee sting. I crashed.
As I take it, Sean Neisted goes up and over in the 211 car.
You got it.
No cautions here in this B feature. Cautions only in the A main for SoDak iRacing. Final transfer spot as they're almost three wide once again. Up in front with Nielsen, Schurz, and Grilly. The 10, 12, and 2 car putting up a great battle up front. Bob Bestman still in that fifth spot, trying to run down. They get it done as Troy Schurz now putting up a battle for the race lead with Nielsen, along with Grilly still in that battle as well.
I'm telling you right now, the bottom in 1 and 2 is pretty good. It's a lot harder to hit in the bottom of 3 and 4.
So the third line is with the bottom line coming into turns 1 and 2, and the top line in turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's what got me, is I just got loose over there in 3 and 4. Oh, my car's fixed. I could go again. I won't.
Wilson with the race lead, though. Troy Schurz knocking on the back door as he's trying the inside line in 1 and 2, and then trying through the middle in 3 and 4. Schurz gonna try a slider, not gonna be able to make the switch. Still out in front. Schurz is second, Grilly still in third. These guys have put up a battle all race long just to transfer into tonight's A main. They are sitting there comfortably. Corey Klumper in the 88 sits in that fourth and final transfer spot, trying to hold on to Bob will do so. So transfer to tonight's A main is going to be Corey Klumper in the 88, Brandon Grilly in the 2, Troy Schurz in the 12, and then it's going to be Nielsen in the 10.
Well, that was fun. I had fun anyway. So when we come back here from the for the SoDak iRacing Series presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction, we will have tonight's Impact Landscape Designs. Amen. We'll be back. You're watching the SoDak iRacing Series presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction on PitStop TV.
We got big time problems with that motor, buddy. Hey, just between you and me, the idea is to avoid the other cars. Congratulations! You just set the sport back 30 years with that move. That move will put you in the Hall of Shame. You keep doing stuff like that and we're going to lose our sponsor. Looks like that's it for us today. Now I know why you got canned by your old team. It's over. We can't fix that damage. Your car is toast. You'll need a tow back to pit lane. Press and hold your reset button and we'll come and get you.
Welcome back to the SoDak iRacing Series presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction, live from the Volusia Speedway, the virtual Volusia Speedway that is, as we get set for tonight's Impact Landscape Designs 35-lap A-feature event. That's coming up next. Keep in mind, throughout the course of this A-feature, we've got some other contingencies on the line, not just to win, place, or show. Of course, you get paid for that as well. But we'll have our Handyman Autoglass Hard Charger Award. That's worth $10 each and every week on the SoDak iRacing Series, presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction. Pivot Companies, they present the Lucky Dog Award. One of our drivers who finishes between 4th and 18th will have the opportunity to pick up that prize. They'll randomly draw the finishing spot after tonight's race to determine who gets that. And, as always, John Kraus and the IMCA Sprint Car Racing Team from back in the day, they still have the $300 back to front challenge in place. If one of our top 5 starters in tonight's Impact Landscape Designs A-Main decides to give up their really good starting spot, and they think they can charge from the back, and they can do it to the front and pick up the win, they will pick up $300 in cold hard cash from John Kraus and his old IMCA Sprint Car Racing Team. As we have seen drivers come really close, I'm going to tell you, on this track in the 305s, it would be quite the Herculean effort to come from the back to get to the front in this, but I'm sure there are some drivers we have in this league who could do it.
Absolutely. I mean, we've almost seen it done already before, Sean, with Tyler Johnson taking the back row challenge. We've seen Nate Barger do it, and I believe Tanner Koster's done it as well, but none of them have been able to get the win, only second place finishes. So, but like you said tonight, it would be a really good effort to try at least do that back row challenge and then carry it on to the win tonight here in your Impact Landscape Designs A-Main event for the SoDak iRacing Series. As they just finish up practice, so 35 lap here A-Main coming to the board. Sean, what do you say we look at the starting lineup?
That was our pleasure. Let's take a look at the starting grid for tonight's Impact Landscape Designs A-feature event for the SoDak iRacing Series presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction. It goes like this. Starting 20th in the Taco Town 88, it's Corey Klumper. And to his inside, it's Caleb Johnson.
Brandon Grilly and Connor Hamilton make up row number 9.
Starting on the outside of row number 8, it'll be the 12 of Troy Shores. And your 15th starter tonight is Christopher Murray in car 55.
Waiting for him to cycle through here. As it's going to be Brett Nielsen and Skylar Devaney going to make up row number 7.
Row number 6 on the outside, a feature winner with the series. It's the number 5 of Tyler Johnson. And your 11th starter is the number 6 of Mitch Lupkes.
Your top 10 stars are going to go like this. Starting on the outside of row number 5, driving the 13, that is John Coots. And to the inside, last week's feature winner, the number 75, that is Dylan Workman.
Oh, they all shuffled around on me. I am totally lost. I can tell you, though, somebody is taking the back row challenge. I see it happening right now. It's Jordan Opdahl in the 41. I believe it's his grandpa that puts up is John Kraus who puts up the back to front challenge. And yeah, right now, John Kraus, maybe he's going to have to start to get that money ready as Jordan Opdahl will sag to the tail of the field. All right, top 10 starters, I'll just run through them here quick. John Coots is going to start in the 5th row with Mitch Lupkes. Row number... You know what, I'm going to go to the front. Let's just do this. Starting at the pole is Tanner Costa, the 97. Bruce Jones is on his outside. Row number 2 is Michaela Volts inside. Kyle Roseboom outside. Austin Opdahl and Travis Shores make up row 3. Row 4, Trey Thiesenvitz and Dylan Workman in some sort of order like that.
Did I just see a blue car for Travis Shores?
Yes, he's got a different paint scheme as we get set for this Impact Landscape Designs A-Main event. 35 laps the distance. Week number 8 of the SoDak iRacing Series presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction. It's been leading to this moment, and we are green on the A-Main, and it's three-time A-Main winner Tanner Koster jumping to the immediate race lead in the 97 with Michaela Volz, who wants that first win. He works the inside with the 17 of Bruce Jones side by side with him as they race through turns 3 and 4. Scotty.
Travis Scherz and Kyle Roseman right behind Jones and Michaela Volz, but that Hooters number 97 car of Tanner Koster out in front. Michaela Volz runs in second. Here comes Bruce Jones, a little shot in the shorts as they come into turns turn 1 and 3 and 4 there. Side by side for the second spot now. Bruce Jones on the bottom, Michaela Volz on the high side. Back behind them, Dylan Workman just put up a fast time. Tyler Johnson now. And Troy Scherz in the 12 with a 15.7. Travis Scherz and Dylan Workman side by side back behind now for second today between the 23 and the 17.
Yeah, Volz in that 23 continuing to work the bottom. Bruce Jones with a very good run going early on in this one. We saw him have a good time. He had a good heat race, and the driver who's yet to finish on the podium runs in a podium spot as we're early on in this one. Volz works the bottom. Jones on the top. He's got the momentum. As we see the usual bottom runner, the one of Travis Scherz, has moved his groove. He is now working the top, and just behind him, the 42 Kyle Roseboom, trying to build up his speed with the 75 of Dylan Workman working on his inside. So with the exception of Tanner Koster, who has checked out on this one, they're 2x2 all around the racetrack.
Jordan Opdahl was supposed to start in your pole position in the 41. He sits back in front and taking the back row challenge, has not been able to make up any spots at all. See if he can do so later on in this race, but still up front. Tanner Koster out in front, Bruce Jones in second, Michaela Volz in third, Travis Scherz in fourth. As they're almost 4 wide coming off of turn number 4, now coming into turn number 1. You've got Tyler Johnson, Kyle Roseboom, Austin Opdahl, Dylan Workman, 4 wide coming on the front stretch here in this previous lap here. Tanner Koster still with the race lead with a comfortable lead in that.
Yeah, keep an eye right there, middle of your screen, the 75 of Dylan Workman. With everyone working the bottom and top, it was like he said, I gotta go, and I gotta go now, and he started to try the middle as the yellow flag flies over the Volusia Speedway for the first time in tonight's Impact Landscape Designs A-Feature event. Looks like trouble for some cars, including the 10 of Brett Nielsen, 12 of Troy Shores, and 88 of Corey Klumper, who were all stuck together over there in turn number 2. Looks like most of them have got things righted and trying to catch up to the back of the field. One quick fix with the SoDak iRacing Series presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction. After that, you sit on the infield and your crew works on your car for what feels like an eternity. Good racing here early on in this one, Scotty.
Absolutely, and just, Tanner Koster out there in front. I mean, we've seen 3 wins, a three-peat actually, out of that 97 car, as we're going to see Corey Klumper go pit side here. As you see Barney waving the caution flag. Yet, Tanner Koster, I mean, he's been great just about every track we've been at. Multiple podium finishes and 3 wins in a row. That is why he is the current points leader in that 97 car. I just want to say an apology right now, though. I called that the Hooters car. That was not the Hooters emblem on the top of the wing there, so I am very sorry for that to his sponsor of the Texas Cherry Plumbing. But yes. Bruce Jones is going to be sitting in that second spot, and Michaela Volz, always a front runner here in that 23 car. He's had a couple of podium finishes, just has not been able to pick up a win yet this season.
As the field going to hustle and get doubled up for a 2x2 restart here. As you see the laps on your screen remaining in this A-Feature event. The A-Feature brought to us by Impact Landscape Designs. As we know with these 305 cars on this track, it is hard to gain a lot of spots, so you're going to have to see a lot of patience from these drivers in the next 2/3 of this race, not only to survive, but also to gain the positions they're looking for. Tanner Koster brings us back to the green. He'll fire him off of turn number 4. Bruce Jones on that outside line, coming right there with him. Everybody else 2x2 as we race, and through the middle, here comes the number 1 of Travis Shores. 3 wide down the back straight away. Jones on the top, Shores in the middle, Volz on the bottom, still 3x3 as Volz gets a little hit to the tail tank from behind him and shuffles him out of line.
42 of Kyle Rosen. Get a little shot to the shorts to Michaela Bolts. He's going to get shuffled back. Here comes Trey Thiesenbitz in the 53 car. Trey Thiesenbitz working the top side of the track as we're going to go on board right now with him. As you see, close call there with a 5 of Tyler Johnson. Dylan working in the 75 just above Thiesenbitz there. As he's working the outside line out.
They're 3 wide right there, Scotty.
3 wide, like you just said, Sean. Dylan working out the top line. Thiesenbitz trying to navigate the top side. Here comes Michaela Bolts to the inside now of Thiesenbitz is who it was. Now Travis Schurz with the run on the second place car of Jones, but out in front it's still the 97 car of Tanner Coster.
Interesting here, watching Coster work the bottom and the 97, Jones working the top. Coster gets a nice advantage going through the early part of the corner. Now they switch lines. Jones goes to the bottom looking for the race lead. Into turn number 1 they go. Coster to the bottom, Jones up top, Shores to the bottom. Side by side, Shores with that second spot for the time being, but there's that momentum we were just talking about, carrying Jones down the back straightaway. So important to keep these 305 cars wound up as slide job from Shores. Jones crosses them over. They race for that second spot. Back to turn number 1. Dylan Workman right there just outside the picture is in the 4th spot, and about to come into your picture, there you see the 53 of Trey Thiesenbitz. Top 5, put a blanket over him off of turn number 4. SoDak iRacing Series presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction, getting red hot in this Impact Landscape Designs A main.
They have caught up to the leader of the number 97, Tanner Coster. Bruce Jones working to the inside of Travis Schurz now, trying to regain that second spot. Tanner Coster is about to come under fire from a pack of wild dogs, as Ryan Dugan would call them. Dylan Workman working the top side of the track, as he does each and every week, with a great head of steam off turn number 2, trying to put up a battle for the second spot now. And here comes Thiesenbitz in tail. Tanner Coster still out in front with 18 laps to go. Travis Schurz has moved into your second spot now. Now they're side by side for that third spot between 17 of Bruce Jones, 75 of Dylan Workman. And here comes Thiesenbitz into the mix as well. Top 5 cars out on the racetrack right now, putting on a very good race as they're 3 wide behind them coming to the stripe. Tanner Coster doing everything he can just to keep that race lead. Thiesenbitz is going to get by Bruce Jones along with Dylan Workman. Thiesenbitz now working to the backside of Workman, trying to get around him as Bruce Jones goes up top.
Did you see that? Thiesenbitz was practically bump drafting with the 75 of Dylan Workman down the back straightaway. Thiesenbitz 4 tires over the cushion, trying to make it too wide where you can't. Nearly got it, nearly made it work. He'll trial the top over here in 3 and 4 once again. Workman's on the cushion, and Thiesenbitz trying to line even higher than that. Really getting these cars wound up as they battle for that position. Here comes Bruce Jones with the 17 on the bottom, working back into position as well. As we go live on board here, you see just how close they are around the racetrack. That's live board with Dylan Workman. As Thiesenbitz, you saw him dive out of screen to the inside. Slide job in front of the 75 of Workman. Around the outside comes the 75 once again. Close quarters here all through the field. None more than these drivers racing tooth and nail in the top 5. It's Coster, Schurz, Workman, Thiesenbitz, and Bruce Jones in the top 5 as the 23 of Michaela Volz trying to race his way back into a top 5 spot. You see him back down the back straightaway. To the inside goes Thiesenbitz. Bangs the inside wall. That's going to cost him some time. Bruce Jones now pressuring around the outside of the 53. They go back to turns 1 and 2, Scotty.
As they come into turns 1 and 2, Thiesenbitz with a better run off of 2 now as they're side by side with Bruce Jones.
Yellow's out.
The caution comes out. Wow. 11 laps to go. We've had some hard-fought racing from second on back, Sean. But out in front, it's still Tanner Coster in the 97 car.
Caution coming out for the 55 of Christopher Murray and the 41 of Jordan Opdahl, who tangled up over in turn number 2. You know, Scotty, usually with a yellow coming out right around that 10 lap to go mark, we would sit here and we'd be able to analyze and kind of come up with the game plan of these drivers, what we think they're going to do on this restart. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea because we're seeing drivers work the bottom. It looks like the top is starting to become preferred, but the drivers are still making that bottom work quite well.
And, you know, they're really not close to the wall as you would think, though, as we've seen in prior races here. But, I mean, it's hard to say, I mean, to analyze what's going to happen here. I mean, Tanner Coster seems to be comfortable out in front in that 97, but from second on back to 5th, like you said, throw a blanket over them. Just great door-to-door racing on the outside, on the inside. These Vince going over the cushion, trying to make it 2 cars wide where it cannot be done, trying to make up spots there. 11 laps to go, and I honestly cannot tell you, or predict what's going to happen here in these last 11 laps.
As we look on board there for a moment with Tanner Koster, he's going to have a lot of company and a lot of pressure on him on this restart. He has to start on that inside row. That's how iRacing works, and that's going to put the number 1 of Travis Shores on his outside. I don't know if you agree with me on this one, Scotty, but I think Shores has the advantage here if he can stay side by side with Koster down the front straightaway. Koster gets to start the race, but if they go into that first turn, look for Shores to build the momentum and maybe take the lead coming off turn 2 on the high side.
Koster has had great restarts all year, though, so we'll have to see what happens. Shores normally runs the inside, but lines up outside. And like I just said there, Sean, Tanner Koster with a great restart as he's going to go through the middle now, back down through the middle. Shores going to tuck tail behind him. Workman up to that 3rd spot. Here comes Trey Thiesenvitz. Thiesenvitz to the outside of Bruce Jones, now working the inside of Workman. Tags the wall a little bit, no momentum lost. But here comes Ice Cold Michelob. Michaela Bolt in the 23 car. He's going to get to the inside of Jones now. And Tyler Johnson in the mix as well. Skylar Devaney, where did he come from in the 8 car? Trey Thiesenvitz working from the bottom to the top, back down to the bottom, trying to gain his spots. He currently sits in 5th.
It is still, 6th place car going around, and the caution's going to come out. We just had a pile up there in turn number 1 as several cars getting together in the first turn, and Tyler Johnson now driving away from the scene. You had just mentioned it, Scotty, that the 5 of Tyler Johnson had started to make and mingle with the top 5, and now part of the caution, he's going to the tail of the field. In fact, right now, as we will watch the replay here, Johnson has taken his GoBuddy.com 5 to the infield. We'll see the incident here. It starts with Michaela Boltz coming, bouncing around the racetrack, got into Johnson, and from there, the wreck was on. So several cars piled up here with some damage, but the good news for these drivers, with 8 laps to go, it is A-okay to go down pit road and use that one quick repair. Let's talk about that last restart, Scotty. Tanner Koster, he nailed it again, as you've talked about him doing it all year long, getting these great restarts, and that's exactly what the 97 car did. But now that everybody knows what he is liking on these restarts, if you're a driver, you're a race car driver, have been, what are you thinking if you're in that 2nd or 3rd spot, if you're lining up there? Do you maybe change it up like Trey Thiesenvitz did on that last restart? He was the only one in the top 5 to use the cushion when they got to turn 1.
I would say, try to time it the best you can and maybe pinch him to the inside, coming into the corner. But with the way Koster is driving, though, that inside line is a preferred line at the moment, but he's been running through the middle. So if I'm Travis Shores, I'm thinking, I've got to time this restart, as good as I can right next to him. But Tanner Koster, like I've said before, he just had great restarts all year, and I don't think that's going to quit anytime soon.
As we take an onboard look along the right side of the cage for the race leader, the 97 of Tanner Koster, you look back at the 1 of Travis Shores, Dylan Workman just behind him. Field bunching up. We get set for this restart. 8 laps remaining on tonight's Impact Landscape Designs 8-feature event for the SoDak iRacing Series. A single file restart, going to change it up just a little bit as we come back to life off of turn number 4. Another great start for Tanner Koster. Shores will go to the bottom. Workman through the middle, trying to build that momentum. He is right there on the tail tank of the 2nd place running number 1 of Travis Shores. They both kind of run through the middle now off of turn number 4. Behind them, they're all scattering, looking for some grip, looking for some momentum, and looking for drive as the laps wind down just outside of a handful of laps to go as Workman comes around the outside, looking for 2nd with Shores running on the bottom.
Shores running on the bottom, trying to partial slide it there to get back around the 75 of Workman. Workman was last week's feature winner in that 75 car, trying to get back up to that top spot. Bruce Jones now coming into the mix as looks like the yellow came out again, I believe, Sean?
Yeah, trouble this time. The 88 Corey Klumper with trouble over there, and he's trying to limp that machine's back around pit side as the Taco Town number 88. New look this week for the driver up there. He had the brown and gold Southwest Minnesota State University alumni colors on that car before tonight's Taco Town paint scheme. So Looking for some better luck, but the bright yellow with red, it's not working tonight for good luck for Corey Klumper. Out front, though, let's talk about it. He changed his colors from the Dobmeyer blue and orange to this white scheme, and that hasn't changed anything for Tanner Koster. He is still very, very fast out front, looking for an unprecedented 4th win with the SoDak iRacing Series. To let you know after that, he has 3. Dylan Workman has 2 feature wins. And after that, Travis Shores, who's up there in the top 3, he's got a feature win. Tyler Johnson has a feature win. And that's it through the 7 races. So Workman and Koster, they have been really strong up front. Travis Shores has not been to victory lane since week number 1. And those drivers we just talked about are all in the top 3.
And normally a driver that you see in the top 5 each and every week, John Coots in the 13 car, he sits back in 8th right now. Normally really consistent up in the top 5 as well. So it's a little surprising to see him back there, sitting there with Skylar Devaney and Trey Thiesowitz and Kyle Rosenblum and Mitch Lupkus. But possibly be able to see him work some magic here in the last 5 laps here of tonight's A feature, brought to you by Impact Landscape Design. Tanner Koster, though, I mean, just up front, podium finishes just about every week here in the SoDak iRacing League. And Travis Shores, in the 1 car as well, and Dylan Workman. These guys have been putting up a fantastic race all week long and all season long, as we're about to go back green.
Green flag waves, and we are back underway. They will cross by the stripe. We've got 5 laps remaining, make that 4 laps remaining in this Impact Landscape Designs A feature event. See that on the right side of your screen? Here comes Dylan Workman, the 75 car, looking very strong here at the end of this one. Big, deep run for Travis Shores. The number 1 car was all over your race leader. Tanner Koster leads back to turn number 1, 3 laps to go.
3 laps to go for your race leader, Tanner Koster in the 97. Here comes Travis Shores. Shores to the inside now, driving it in deep, trying to get to the inside of the 97. Not going to happen. 2 laps to go at this time by 97 still out in front. The 1 car in second, 75 in third. These drivers have put on a great race so far as it comes down to the final lap. Shores again to the inside of Koster. Koster falls behind a little bit. He's going to fall back to second. Final lap here tonight. Travis Shores with the race lead as they come down the backstretch into turns number 3 and 4. Koster to the inside. Oh, he's going to get pinched from the 1 car. Slide job maybe. Who's going to get it? Travis Shores with the win. Tanner Koster in second. Dylan Workman in third. Bruce Jones in 4th. And Josh Coots, like I said, he was going to work some magic. He finds himself in the top 5.
8/100ths of a second. It is worthy of donuts tonight for Travis Shores, who will get win number 2 on the season with the SoDak iRacing Series presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction. And your race winner going to come down here to the Jordan Opdahl Construction victory lane as fireworks go off at Volusia, and deservedly so. What a feature again, Scotty, that we saw here tonight. It comes down to a last lap pass coming off of turn number 4. What an event.
I mean, those last lap passes are always the exciting one. Travis Shores being patient, as you said earlier in the broadcast, Sean. You know, these guys trying to keep the momentum up and having patience to move through the field. Travis Shores doing just that and making his move there with 2 laps to go in the 1 car, and finds himself back in victory lane.
I think if this were a real race right now, we would see somebody climb out and do a wing dance. Travis Shores, you get your 2nd win of the season in dramatic style. Take us from your point of view, those last couple of laps as we talk to you here tonight in victory lane with your 2nd win of the year. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I didn't really expect that. We got kind of sorted out, and we got that long green run, and Tanner was running away from me. I kind of thought that's the way it was going to be, but I could tell in the restarts I left a lot on the table. I got a lot deeper gear than I could tell Tanner and Dylan both had, so I kind of gave up a little bit there. Once it got strung out, though, it got pretty interesting. I tried a couple things and had pretty good speed, and I did not expect to pass Tanner whatsoever. But I knew where I needed to be coming to the white. and I got there about a half a lap early, and I kind of had to play a little defense towards the end. But yeah, that was barn burner.
It seemed like there late in the go, you really were getting some big time runs getting into turn number 3. Is that what you were feeling as well?
Yeah, I was trying to experiment around. When we got in that long run, Tanner was running the middle really good, and I was kind of experimenting on the top, and I just couldn't reel him in. And I kind of started running the middle, and that seemed to work pretty good. 1 and 2, I started using way up top at the end and carried really good speed. And these cars are so about momentum, and I started kind of working the middle to almost kind of a sliding myself type line in 3 and 4, and you could carry a bunch of speed in and not scrub it all off exiting. And yeah, found a way to carry some momentum, and that's the biggest thing in these things. You got to keep your speed up. If you get crossed up or got to check up, you're out to lunch.
Well, you talk about momentum on this racetrack. Next week, we're going to change things up. We're going to put the 360 power plants back in, and we're going to say goodbye to the half miles for the season after this one. We're heading to Limaland. What are your thoughts on the last 2 events, both in 360 sprints and both on some much shorter bull rings?
Yeah, Limaland's going to be a wild card. That's like Bristol. It's like Martinsville. It's you can't see the guys next to you. It's really quick action. You can pass 2 or 3 cars in a corner without even trying. So that's going to be a make or break for a lot of guys' seasons, I think. I'm pretty excited about it. I get around there okay. It's always the what if factor of getting wadded up in somebody else's stuff. Lanier, pretty excited for to end the year. That's a really racy track. I usually run pretty good there. That'll be a good finish.
We look forward to those, and now you get to celebrate this win. Congratulations. Coming from 7th for the victory, Travis Shores. Nice job. Congrats.
Thanks.
Now let's talk with our second place finisher by just a fraction of a second and the smallest of fractions, Scotty DeYoung standing by with Tanner Koster.
Tanner, another podium finish for you in the number 97 car, leading basically the entire race until those last couple of laps here. Was the track just going away or something in your setup? What happened there?
Oh, well, it's real hard to be ever upset about a second place finish, but God, that one kills me. Trav's a great guy. That was an awesome race. What actually happened, the middle was starting to fade, but it was still there. He definitely was figuring out what I was doing and getting there, and he got a good run with 2 to go out of corner 2 down the backstretch, and it kind of threw me off going into 3, and I missed my line, and I was spinning the tires too much, and he got under me coming to the white flag, and I knew that was probably about all I was going to be able to do, but I tried to get a run and get something coming to the line, and it just wasn't quite enough. But yeah, that was one heck of a race. I was hoping to get the birthday win, but Trav wouldn't let me, but it was fun.
That's right. It being your birthday today, so happy birthday on that note. But once again, another podium finish, putting you even farther ahead on the leaderboard here. What are you looking forward to in these last 2 races here in the 10-week series?
Yeah, you mentioned that points, and I don't know how. I know Caleb had some issues there, but I can't qualify, and I lost some points there. But Limaland, I'm honestly not sure. That one's gonna be, like Trav said, a real wild card. Lanier, I'm really looking forward to. That's gonna be fun. We've turned some laps there, and it usually works out to be a pretty good race there too. So that'll be a fun way to end the season. It should be exciting for sure.
Looking forward to possibly another season here with the SoDak iRacing series in the official racing off season this winter.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be exciting. These guys are always fun to race with.
So once again, another podium finish for the 97 car of Tanner Koster, still with the points lead in the series here with only 2 weeks left. Sean Neistat standing by with our third place finisher tonight, the 75 of Dylan Workman. Sean?
Dylan going +6 from the drop of the green to the checkered flag. I know you always want to be the up there in the number 1 spot, but finishing third after starting deep in the field, not a bad night's work.
No, it's not. It was very tough to pass for sure. I just got fortunate and got a few key cautions to allow me to get runs on guys out there.
It seemed like you were one of the first to really kind of go to the middle, especially early on when both the top and bottom line were blocked. We were kind of debating on the broadcast if you were just like, you know what, the heck with it, to go by people, I've got to run a different line. Was that the case?
Yeah, I was being held up by a couple of cars, and I thought, well, I have to go where they're not. And like I said, just caught a very timely caution to allow me to go back to the outside and try to make up some ground on some guys.
We've talked to the other podium finishers here tonight for the upcoming two events, Limaland, and we know you're looking forward to Lanier. You're probably maybe the most excited for that little racetrack. So what are your predictions for the upcoming 2 weeks?
Limaland, it's going to be a lot like a Houston. It's going to be very tight, very quick. Everything's going to be very quick going through that racetrack. People are going to have to keep their eyes on the action for sure. And Lanier, it's going to be a really good show throughout the night. It's probably one of the better racetracks on the game.
So we will look forward to the next 2 weeks with the SoDak iRacing Series, and we congratulate you on another podium run here tonight. Congrats.
Thank you, guys.
So there it is. Dylan Workman finishes in the third spot. Your runner-up tonight, Tanner Koster, who led 29 laps, and your winner by 0.08 of a second, the number one of Travis Shores. I don't know how they did it, Scotty, but once again, we talk every week. Seems like it gets better than the week before. They did it again. Last lap pass, 0.08 of a second at the line. What a night.
Left your channel.
Absolutely, what a night for the top three for sure. One driver I was really hoping to make his way up into that top five, if not the top spot, Trey Thiesenvitz. I think the story tonight as well with how he was moving through the field. The 53 car finished 7th, right behind Skylar Devaney and John Coots, who held the 5th spot. But like we keep saying over and over, Sean, just great racing tonight. It just gets better with every week. We got 2 weeks left, Limaland next week, and then Lanier at the end of this racing series here. I'm gonna miss this, honestly, when it's all said and done with.
Well, let's not think about that just yet. We've got 2 exciting weeks yet. Hey, I also want to give a little tip of the cap here, tip of the virtual cap. Brandon Grilly makes the show tonight, and it looks like he is your handyman auto glass hard charger. He finished in the 9th spot and went +9 in tonight's feature event. So if that holds true, congratulations to Brandon Grilly. You see him there in the Fernson Brewing Company number 2. Charging forward +9 tonight. Scotty, another great night here. Thanks again to our good folks over at PitStop TV for allowing us to bring the SoDak iRacing Series presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction to more people out there once again, and to all of our loyal viewers. We thank everyone for tuning in. Now we look forward to next week, man. Give me your final thoughts on the night.
I mean, just a great action-packed night from heat races to feature. Honestly speechless with how that finish in the A feature went for sure. But like you just said, Sean, thank you again to PitStop TV for stepping in and broadcasting tonight's races with the rest of the Advantage crew over in Alta at the Beaver Buena Vista County Raceway there. Yeah, next week, I mean, what can we expect from these guys here?
We can expect another exciting one. It'll start 8 o'clock. Make sure to give the Facebook page SoDak iRacing Series. Make sure to give that a like, and we will have all of your viewing information on that before next Wednesday night's coverage begins. So with that, it will conclude our coverage for tonight's racing event featuring the SoDak iRacing Series presented by Jordan Opdahl Construction. And everyone with PitStop TV, thanks you for tuning in for tonight's action, and I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Make sure to follow PitStop TV on Facebook at facebook.com/PitStop TV. Follow them on Twitter at PitStop TV, all one word, no spaces, and then an underscore at the end. You can follow them on Twitch at twitch.tv/pit_stop_TV, and on YouTube by simply searching PitStop TV. And be sure to join PitStop TV tomorrow night for the SRCA IndyCar World Series doubleheader coming your way from Texas. For Scotty DeYoung, I'm Sean Niestead, and for the entire PitStop TV crew, we thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next Wednesday night.
Good night, everybody.